test. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Hang on. Okay, you guys are gonna go on the chesty, and we're just gonna get right to this. I know everybody's been waiting. Merry Christmas, by the way. Got out on the water yesterday. Should have went today, but you know, Christmas had things to do. But today, I'm already done, pretty much. So, here's the deal. I'm gonna try to block the sun. We got bright skies out here and almost no wind. So, perfect time to shoot these guys out, right? We've got, which I've had a while, Aldebaran 30 MGL. This is the JDM version. And then the new Zillion SV Boost. The SV Boost and then the MGL. We're kind of doing the shootout because I think, don't hold me 100% to it, but almost all these spools are, on Shimano, they're a little different. They change weights and different stuff, but I'm pretty sure that if you get the same technology is basically there. So this, I don't know if you would call this the best MGL spool that is out there, or I think Antares maybe supposed to be a little better. Or if this is the, you know, this Steez or something higher grade than this Zillion. But I have these two that I use for, this one I've always used like as an all-around, like what I call power BFS or above. You know, it'll cast down little stuff somewhat, but then I use my regular baits with it also, and it's a lightweight reel, and you definitely can't beat that as far as palmability and how lightweight it is. Aldebaran, top dog, right? But I just picked up the Zillion. Man, this shading, this lighting is horrible. Let me try to adjust the camera a little bit, but it's just the way the sun's hitting right now until it goes up and around the house. Not good. So, excuse me, I'm just coming off a fishing trip yesterday. Did a on the water shootout battle between these guys. I didn't quite get this low. So, and I'll just show you the weights real quick. But that footage, I'm not going to tell you who won or what's going on there. This is a whole different battle going on today. And I'll have to read these off too if you can't see it. And I'm going to turn and we're going to get different in the light, and it'll be better for you guys. So with the snap, just over 2 grams. That's a 16th ounce crappie jig with the deal. That's a, I will typically throw a little bit smaller snap on, but that's what I would go if I'm crappie fishing, or I'll throw this size sometimes. So we're going to throw both these today. And that's 3. I was trying to get it close with that little snap. I guess I'll try to show you. That's true, like a kind of a 1/8 ounce, almost 4 grams. But about 3.6, 3.7 grams for the big one with the snap. So basically a 16th ounce and then an 1/8 ounce. So, you know, roughly not just under 2 grams to almost 4 grams. Those baits, what will these things, how light will they throw? Because I will tell you, I was throwing, I'm not going to tell you who won, the biggest bait I threw yesterday, and both of these throw it very well, a 3/4 ounce rattle trap. I was actually throwing the Strike King Red Eye Shad just for the fact if I backlashed and broke and lost it, my Booyah Hard Knockers actually like over my Strike King Red Eye Shad. But I've got a white one, 3/4 ounce, was bombing it with both these. Not going to tell you who won. I will tell you that one of these reels, yeah, I'm not going to tell you. We're going to do this video. So, also, just to, I know some of you tuning in just wanting to know about Shimano or Daiwa probably don't care about this rod, but this is that rod that I have not really had a chance to get you guys out here looking at it. And hopefully the sun's going to go away a little bit. So I'm going to get over here where I'm going to start to stage up. And first off, we're just going to throw, because I was throwing this already out here today. Oh, real briefly. What started me on this whole madness, and we'll talk about this rod in a second. I come out here today, you know, I was like, I'm going to try to figure out how to mess with the brakes on the Aldebaran, because this is the 50, and the SV Boost, all that, definitely smokes this old school stuff. This old school brakes right here, it's old. I tried grinding some of two. I took two, the opposite sides, and I actually ground them down, trying to get them lighter. And no, that don't work. That was an epic failure, but it I don't know. It's hard to explain. Did not do any good. Problem with that 50 is you can turn the brakes all the way down. Just one of them arms coming out. It don't matter if the ones I cut or just a stock one. And it's over braked, especially the lighter the bait you go. You can just feel like it should get more distance and it's not backlashing. And so that's what started the whole thing. Today I'm like, well, while I'm out here jacking around, I may as well go ahead and just see what, how well this one will do. I don't think I've ever tried to throw, and I'll show you where I finally ended up setting the brakes. I don't think I've ever tried to throw a 2 gram bait with this on any. I don't think I've tried that before. We tried it yesterday, but I'm not telling you about that. So here's what we're trying today. With this rod, that it's hard to find. If you look for the video, if you decide you want one of these, it's the ultralight 6 foot. Looks cool. That's fake cork, but it looks good. The unboxing I did on this rod, I shared the link. So if you do want this rod, but the trick is, and I commented about that, like you'll go to that place and it'll say unable to ship to you. Still, put that thing in your cart, because what happens is then sometimes they are, and it could be week to week. It doesn't have to be a sale going on. But for under $18, you can get this 6 foot, pretty cool looking rod shipped to your door. And for you guys that have seen the Tomas, or when I was talking about the Toma rods, I think the same company makes this, because the tips will interchange. That cool one I got for the lingual comes with the light and ultralight tip for like 30 bucks. This little $18 rod, if you like this handle better, the tips interchange. So I would say if you own a Toma, get this rod, because you got, you're not gonna, well, you shouldn't snap that part. And so say if you're, leery about the tips, well, your Toma tips will fit in this, and this is a cool handle. I mean, just the handle parts would cost you, probably 25 to 30 bucks. So anyway, enough about that. Let's go with this reel. Now, what I did, I will tell you a few things that I found out in yesterday's test before we go fully into this, and I'll get out in the light a little bit here. I found out yesterday that this reel likes that number 3 setting, and it's like a set it and forget it. I was casting lightest baits. I came out here today casting this bait. Number 3, there's not a 3 there. It goes from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, even numbers all the way to 20. But that dot in between 2 and 4, so number 3 on this dial setting, it just likes that. If I go less, it will backlash. If I go more, you can feel it kind of dragging a little bit. But this SV spool, that SV Boost spool, is definitely the real deal, as far as probably the best casting Daiwa spool I've ever seen and used. So let's just see how far to go. If you guys remember right, if you watched any of my other shootout videos, just past the crack into the street, just this side of the driveway is like 45 feet, and then at the street's like 50, middle of the street 60, 70 the other side of the street. So I'll try to holler out the numbers that it's going. Oh, that's a little too far down. Right about there. Let's see where it goes. Okay, almost, not quite middle of the street, but almost. One cast in. And I'm not going to turn it down, because I'm telling you, I've tried it. You turn it down, it will backlash. So I'm going to give it another cast. So not quite, almost middle of the street. Wait, one more. I think it should go to the middle of the street. This is the 16th ounce, or just over 2 gram bait with the skirt on it, 16th ounce jig head. Okay, yeah, so almost. You guys really want to see it? I guess here. I'll walk you all the way down. You guys know you like my long videos. So the middle of the street, we go get run over. It's right out here. So it's about a foot shy of 60 feet. So 59 feet, I guess I'd call it. So remember that. Whoa. We're hung up in the grass. So I'm gonna throw this other bait, and then we're gonna put on the MGL 30. So this, where'd you guys go? The SV Boost. Now I had it on that, we were doing the test. Oh, here it is. We were doing the test with the NRX 803, but I could slap this thing, where's that bait? Both these reels actually, you slap them right on like the 803 and 3/4 ounce baits, just flinging them. Okay, so now go to the heavier bait and see where it goes. I haven't thrown this bait yet. Okay, other side of the street, so 70 feet. Now I'm gonna try it because I tried it with the other bait and it did backlash, and I tried it all day yesterday. But I'm gonna try, I guess I'll show you guys. I'm gonna do one more cast and then we'll try one. I'll back the brakes off one notch. Because I can whip that thing and I don't have to stop and it will not backlash on that 3 setting. It's kind of crazy. Now where'd that go? Okay, it just went on to the grass. So if you guys remember right, I think it was, isn't it the other side of the sidewalk is 70 feet. So it's probably only like 61 or 2 feet. But I'm gonna show you, no backlashing, but we're gonna bring them brakes down. Just, where did I get all this red on me at? Oh boy, what is, I don't know where I got red on me from. Is it that, I think it's that bait. All right. Now I'm gonna throw it. I'm probably not gonna put my all into it because it'll probably backlash, but let's see what it'll do. Yeah, see it? I don't know if you guys saw it, and it went further, but I would not want that setting. I could get max distance at that setting, and I'm gonna do the Shimano the same way. If it's got a fluffiness to it, I've learned from doing these cast testing, that's not where you're gonna be out on the water with it. And I was already out on the water with it at that setting yesterday, so I know right there, for whatever reason, just that little click makes a world of difference. Okay, we're gonna call that good. So do you guys remember? Probably 59 feet, almost to the middle of the street, to across the street up into the grass, but not onto the sidewalk. So about probably 70, I don't know, something. 59, so we'll call it 71, something like that. So now, I don't know, I think this should beat it. When it comes to the lightweight stuff, it should. But I can tell you right now, I'm definitely impressed with this reel. I like this little rod too. Actually, I was out here casting it with the Toma light tip. I'm finding that I like a light tip. These little flimsy rods, you know, not the light, like I got the 661 sitting right here. It is a little stiff for real small baits, but I'm finding that these little lights you're getting off AliExpress, they come with the ultralight and a light tip. They actually, because I can cast a little baits. I can't cast a trout magnet technically with the light tip, but I can cast a little baits, and I have a more controlled feel with that light tip. So we got the ultralight tip on right now, but I'm finding that I don't know, I kind of like because if I could find a light tip like off the Toma, I would probably actually buy it and put on this rod, because I think it felt a little better. I like my CU double way better with the light tip. Now there's a few rods, and if I was, you know, the real little, some of these creeks and streams you've seen me and Charles go to. Now yeah, they're the ultralight, but I'm finding that these rods actually are too stiff. They're like an in-between. They're a good all-around rod, but I'm finding I like even the Cascade Zephyr is almost too heavy for the real little creeks we go to. I like the 522 Teton. I've got a high dollar Carium, whatever, same company that makes the Black Knights. I got an expensive rod coming from them because I like them little bitty, I like the challenge of it, them little bitty 5.6 or smaller that are real, not noodly either, but they're just soft. They're just kind of like a full flex. Just makes it more fun to me. All right, so I guess, did I tell you as we're switching this out as I'm tying the knot? I also, and you'll see in that video, now I didn't cheat, but I'll tell you what I did, and I plan on leaving it with this much line. I took, before I spooled these up, I spooled this line on this reel, and then I switched it so I would have as much. That's why this one looks, this is 1,000 or 100, basically it'll hold way more line. but they have the same amount of line. It's the same brand. I just got it in brand new, the not Hercules, Perberos this time around. And that is 10-pound test camo, blue camo, and 10-pound test just normal camo braid. And they both have 10-pound leaders. So the actual line is the same. And I know somebody's like, well, you know, you should be using what you're going to fish it. That's just how I'm going to fish this. That thing, I don't need any more line. And, well, I'm not going to give it away. You'll have to wait and watch that video, but I'm telling you, that thing works awesome with that much line on it. Now, yeah, if you want to fill it all the way, or if you got fluoro or whatever, which I'm a braid guy. You guys know that if you know the channel. So anyway, let's see if this can beat the 59 foot and then the what, like 71 or 2. And then I'm gonna get out of here, and I've got to get stuff ready. I think I'm going fishing again tomorrow. It's gonna be nice enough to get out a few hours anyway. It's a never-ending fall, forever fall bite that has went into past Christmas. Could go into the new year technically if next weekend looks. That is a horrible knot. Good thing I'm not fishing with this knot. That knot did not come out. Well, I guess it ended up okay, but it sucked. So we'll start with the little guy, and I'll show you where I had the brake set on the. Oh, I got these people walking by. We're gonna start with the little guy now. On this thing, of course, with this reel, there's no internal adjustments. It's that dial and that's it. With this guy, you can, if you guys are familiar with the Aldebarans. You kind of have to go until you have to figure out which way you want it. Now, what I've done here is I've got 2 activated and working and 2 locked out. So then what that lets me do is when I came over here, let me lock this before I forget. I'm horrible. I've gone out and fished days in a row and then realized that I left that thing open. Of course, the Aldebarans have such tight tolerances you'll never know. Like unless you go to move it, it'll stay put, which is kind of cool. Now this is we've talked about it before. This is a horrible dial. This is a way better. That right there, you can see it, move it, way better design. I've talked about that last year. Whenever I got my Alphas Air, it's the same kind of brake setup. This is not good on the Shimanos, but when you have a set it and forget it kind of deal, it's all right. So we ended up at, what was that, 2, in between 2 and 3, but closer to 2, probably a couple clicks. So like 2 1/4 just past is where I ended up liking it yesterday. Because I did reset them. I kind of cast it. I did some fishing before we did the shootout video. So I found out, didn't take long to find out that thing likes 3, and then this thing likes right here. If I tried to go, you try to go down to 2. So I know, I mean, technically I could probably have turned on 1 and then dialed this up higher, but it really, none of that configuration matters. It's just getting it to where somewhere in the, within range of the middle of this dial is where the brakes are working the best for you. So then you have adjustments, either way to adjust it. So if like I had 2 and I had it turned all the way down, like I do on this guy, I had, just 1 and I got it turned all the way down and it still needs like less brakes. So then you would go in and just activate just 1 brake. If that's what it took, just 1 brake and then turn it, adjust it from there. But so I should not have to, I guess I should have, that feels awful tight. I don't know if you guys can see that thing dropping. I didn't really pay attention, but I'm pretty sure I got mine. Oh yeah, like the real test, I talked about how he does the 0 adjuster. That's the first thing I adjusted on this dude. It was way too loose. Like if I let this thing go, I'm gonna loosen that up just a hair. It was casting good yesterday, but some reason it's, there we go. That, just a hair back. So we've talked about it. I talk about it all the time on the channel. I'll remind myself and you guys every once in a while, but I want it to drop and not go too much. Like if you can see that spool building up momentum and that bait's gonna land to 2 grams, and that's the perfect bait to adjust yours with. And that's close. And of course you got an unruly spool, you're like, I don't know, I just can't keep that thing from fluffing up. Well, just a little bit. Or if you're like, man, I just want to get, if you're just trying to get a little more distance out of something, you can, back it off just a touch. That's fine tuning. But to start with, right there. So let's see where this guy goes. On your mark, get set, go. Hang on. One of the kids had batteries out here. That's why I noticed you guys notice that around right before Christmas time, all these batteries start disappearing out of your house. Hang on, I hear a car coming. So let's see. Oh, backlash. That was not good. I don't know. I'm going to have to turn it up maybe. Maybe I had that tension deal for a reason. Don't worry. Hang on. We got 10-pound test. That little 2 grams, it is not going to snap off. Make an easier cast. Nope. Well, what did I do? That's the same settings. I was just out fishing with this thing. And I cast a 2-gram bait. I didn't cast it with this rod though. Maybe this ultralight tip. Is it not truly a set it and forget it? Unless I didn't mess with this thing. 2 on, 2 off. So you see it's backlashing a little bit. Now you could do it 2 ways technically. This isn't the way to do it, but you'll see a lot of guys do that. They will adjust that. But before I do that, I try to find the setting in here. So I'm going to go just, you don't even have to go by number. Just turn it a little bit. Because sometimes the slightest little bit will change. Okay, still backlashed. It is almost hitting the street, but it's backlashing. We just need to tighten the brakes up just a hair. Just a hair. Just a hair. Oh, I got one. Whoa! Thing's a monster. It's one of those cement carp. What in the world did I hook? Are you kidding me? I hooked fishing line. Where did it come from? Oh, Javier. That kid, did he come out here? That's the only thing I can figure. This is definitely not my line, I assure you that. But Javier, his uncle, got him a rod here a while back. It's the only thing I can figure. I can't get away from this. And I did it yesterday too. You guys will see in the video. Or no, you guys, no, I may have edited out of that video. But I hooked the line again yesterday. Oh my God. These kids. I'm going to have to re-instruct them that we don't let fishing line. That could actually cause a lot of issues. Okay. And speaking of issues, this reel's starting to give me some issues. Let's try it again. Now, in all fairness to this, I was out here with the other ones adjusting on it. So we're going to go, now we're closer. We've gone about half a turn, or like half a number, because we were closer to 2, now we're closer to 3. So I'm going to try that. We'll go from there. But you guys got a Christmas deal to be at? Get out of my driveway. Okay, almost. Almost. I'm going to try that one more time. I'm going to let go a little sooner, let it go a little higher in the air. Nope, still backlashing, dude. Well, as I do come out and do these test casts, I'm just going to adjust it where it doesn't backlash, and then we'll go down. That's what I'm going to have to do. It just re-establishes my point of why you use braid. You guys see how many times I've said here in backlash? You just pull it out and keep going. So we're just going up. We're going to I'm going to 3.5. This sucker's got a knot backlash, and then we'll go down. Okay, so no backlash. Wow, them brakes are way off as far as... I had it set. I mean, I don't think I backlashed at all yesterday. I don't think. I don't know. Well, it's not really backlashing, but it's not really... Hang on. It's getting almost right where the... We're almost right where the SV Boost spool was. It should go further. It honestly should. These little lightweight baits, this is where this little 30 size MGL spool should. Nope, in a backlash. I don't know why it backlashed. Let me see. Hang on. No, it's still wanting to backlash. I turned it up. Let me turn it all the way to frickin' 4. I'll put it to you like this though. I know 100% that these reels aren't what the Aldebaran BFS is. The difference between the magnetic braking in that reel and these centrifugal is definitely different. But this thing was going fine. But like I said, I've never tried to throw that bait with it. Yesterday, I threw down close to this, but it could have been a 3 gram bait. And that once you get down to these little 1, 2, 3 grams, that little, you know, quarter of its weight, it makes a difference. Oh my God, hang on. I think I did, that one was probably my fault. Hear that Gary sound like a Daiwa. I probably need to take it apart and put some oil in it. Okay. I think I've got the backlash out of it, but now I don't have the distance. It can't get where the SV spool is. Let me get another. Okay, so I got the backlash and stopped as long as I stop it before it hits the ground, but it's not going nowhere near as far as the Now I did drop this one a while back, but that shouldn't have had any effect on it. It's worked fine ever since. You know, I've never had an issue with this reel, and it's working fine now. It's just, I don't know, maybe we've met its you know, its abilities are pushed to its max. Maybe that's why Shimano went with had to come with the FTB stuff, because they knew that their little all this kind of stuff literally sucks. You know, I know this would be a lot lighter spool if it was a truly 4 BFS, but still, yeah, it's a lightweight spool. I should be able to cast this, because I ain't gonna lie, I was out here now, not with this rod, but I'm getting the distances I'm getting with this, I can get with the Aldebaran 50. Now I got only one brake on, and I'm casting as hard as I can, but it'll hit right out there. Okay, we're on the street, but we're probably lucky to be 50 feet. So honestly, that's almost 9 foot behind the... That's better, but look, it gets a little fluffiness. So I'm way up there on the brakes. I don't know why that is. I guess I'll tell you now, I'm not going to give it away for sure, but I felt like this was a little better with the lighter stuff yesterday. Of course, I was throwing, I'm talking like 4 and 5 grams baits. I thought it just felt like it was easier to cast them. The SV was casting them, but it felt like it was lagging just a hair. But as of right now, this thing right here is not casting this bait as far as I can get with that SV. It's only casting them as far as I can get with the Aldebaran 50 on that other rod. Of course, the 661 Teton is a good rod for zipping this thing out there. I don't know what to do. If I loosen the brake, it'll backlash. If I tighten it, it ain't even going to go that far. I'm going to go to 3.5, just a little bit down from where we were. Let's see. I think I threw it down. Hang on. Bear with me. I was trying to make this short video. I can't get this thing to freaking cast. Okay, it's hitting I seem to be consistent with just about 50, 51 feet is where it seems to like it, and it usually doesn't backlash, but sometimes it does. So I don't really want to go, I'm telling you. Yeah, it just like right, it's kind of like it's going fine, but then right before it hits where you should put your hand on it, it's like it frees up so much that it lets it backlash. One more, then we're just switching baits. I'm gonna see if I can get it. You hear it? I could hear it starting to backlash. I call it 51, maybe 2 feet. So I call it, I tried my best and I can only get it within about, what would that be? About 7 feet of this guy. About the same thing this guy gets on a rod with it's a little bit longer, a little bit what I call better. Well, let's jump to this, see if I can at least get it as far as this guy. You remember this guy was getting into the, this guy was 59 feet with this guy almost to the middle of the street. This guy's just barely getting in the street with that bait, but now we're going with this one. I did not think that I would, and somebody, I know there's probably a lot of you don't like that idea, but I can get further with that new SV Boost spool than I can with the MGL 30, 2 grams, 2.12, whatever it is. Okay, what was that? A little bit, I think I may have stopped it too late. Went right out, almost hit the middle of, well, went past the middle of the street. Almost hit the other side, I think. Was close. So, and it's fallen shy on that part too. What the heck? Now, I did fish the crap out of the SV Boost. I got there, and within the first hour and a half or so, I did the test, and then I fished the SV Boost spool for the rest of the day, another 5 hours or so. So it's a possibility that I finally got the brake, the spool bearings, ran in to where it does cast better. On, especially like lighter weights is usually where you find that out. I mean, it was casting fine before, but it just gets it frees it up more when they're after they're brand new. You get one brand new and they may suck right out of the box. That's why I usually, like on the BFS stuff, I like to just spray them out and put a little bit of light, just a touch of oil in them. This guy, I can't get the distance on that bait. I'm gonna end up calling this video, but I want you guys to watch the other video, but I'll probably give you a little spoiler. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna back it. That one, I got up there and it was going, and then I could feel the brakes killed it before it made it to the curb on the other side. So I'm gonna go down just a hair and see if we can cast without backlashing. So I was going just past 3. Let's see, right here. There we go. No backlash. That felt better, sounded better. Let me give it a good cast with it. And then I'll share a little bit, and you guys can watch the video too. Still, let me go just a little bit more. I never really considered this a finicky reel. I thought I did. I set it and forget it, but I was throwing, mid-size, like I wasn't throwing true BFS. There we go. Touch of a fluff up, but no, wait, this hit the grass, didn't it? Yeah, I'd call it 71 or 2, which is the grass, not the curb. That hit the edge of the curb. Hit the edge of the curb again, and we're on. It's not really backlashing. You kind of got to be careful. you got to be careful. Thing is, I've already adjusted it now twice. I've adjusted it for the other bait, and I'm adjusting it for this one right here. It's hitting the curb. So I'm going to call it, it gets closer, but I'm going to call this video as far as my testing it. And I honestly, I ain't going to lie, I thought this guy was going to take the cake on these little baits. I thought, you know, this would be like, which like it was, they're within a couple foot of each other, but I thought that honestly that guy was going to be a foot behind this guy. So, did anybody comment? No, you guys are you probably all got lives and you're out doing something on Christmas Day. But anyway, when you get around to watching this video and you're watching it like right now, which could be next week, make sure your kids don't throw your line out in the middle of your freaking driveway, make you look like a moron. But anyway, I thought for sure that this was going to take the cake for this little dude here. And then I thought they would be close to even like they were, but that this guy was going to lose out, because what I was finding yesterday, and be watching for that on the water shootout, this was a more accurate one, because I can tell you without a doubt, I was out here, what you guys witnessed me out here doing, I did with this reel in like less than half the time, and it is exactly set. What you just saw me casting, number 3, just like I fished it all day yesterday once I found that setting, which was before I did that shootout, which you'll see. Love that reel. Set it and forget it. Palm's bigger, it's heavier, not a lot bigger though, comfortable. Yes, it's heavier than the Aldebaran. It's, you know, they're not really in the same price market, but I'll be honest, before I buy another, either an MGL, even an old 50, unless I can get one for $100, but this reel, that SV Boost, that is no joke. I'm gonna give you a couple spoilers that for the video on the water. I threw a lot of baits. I threw 3/4 ounce, a couple different half ounce. Like I threw a 3/8 ounce chatterbait with the, you know, trailer, so it's gonna be, you know, more like close to probably 5/8. Then I threw a half ounce jerk bait. I threw the 5 or 6 gram bait, and I'll put it this way. When you got to the higher end, I felt this SV Boost outdid this. But as I went even to the, you know, mid-range stuff, honestly, on the water, you know, you guys want to watch that video because you can see the bait landing. You know, I'm casting, but I'm casting those big enough baits, like you can watch them splash down in the water. And I felt they were even. Like I couldn't, from what I was watching and looking, I couldn't tell. Now this guy can cast a 3/4 ounce. Oh yeah, and you'll be able to watch me go into the wind. But 3/4 ounce rattle trap, there is no competition for this guy. This thing casts one further than any reel I've ever thrown. Beats this one, beats any of the reels you've seen me or heard of me owning in the past. So I don't know if there's a better caster out there, but I haven't owned it. This thing for that, now I didn't even have all the line on, and I would only assume that it could cast a 3/4 ounce better with more line. But I was throwing with the wind, I'll give it that. I was with the wind, and I spooled it. Now I was throwing into the wind too. We had 25-mile-an-hour winds yesterday. I was casting this with, I think the littlest, I went down to a 1/4 ounce. And that was a rattle trap. I wanted something sort of aerodynamic, but when you're casting in 25-mile-an-hour winds, and I backlashed just a couple, like a handful of times. I was kind of doing a little shootout. This thing will definitely backlash more in casting into the wind. Kind of like the Black Knight 2. I love the Black Knight 2, but it is not a cast into the wind, and, you know, unless you're being careful. And same kind of thing for this. Now, this is a good reel. This reel casts very good. I can't knock it at all. I actually thought it was going to take the cake because I've never had an issue with the brakes being too light or too heavy. Like, I've been able to adjust this where I wanted it to. And I guess it's fine. I mean, I'm casting fishable distances with both these. But you just saw in this video, I just came out with that. I probably don't even need to get spools I got planned for this. I got a cheap BFS spool coming. And lastly, that's what I'll talk about while I mention that, but you can turn these into BFS reels, and they're on the verge, power BFS for sure. You know, you can cast a lot of baits that, you know, you normally do a spinning gear with this reel or this reel on a, like a 661 or even on the 802C. You know, you can get down there to where guys would normally cast. These are very finesse reels. But what you can't do is very affordably if you've already got one. Like say you get a deal on one of these, man, I'm going to turn this into a BFS reel. The only way I know, you have to buy a pretty expensive aftermarket spool, or you could, technically you could convert this to like the BFS version by getting the side plate and either an aftermarket spool or stock spool, which would be a lot more money and probably wouldn't be as good as an aftermarket. So you'd want to go with the aftermarket spool and then aftermarket side thing, you know, and then you're going to need the bearings because the bearings are different, but you're going to talk a lot of money. The cool thing about, and if you've watched the unboxing on this, I can get from a $15, well under 15, it's like $13 and something, BFS spool. I can get any old spool that was made for like the TDZs or the old school Zillions also, which my son has one in a TD Ito. We've got a purple BFS spool I could just, you know, slap in it. I've got one coming. They do make some higher end ones, and then which I knew, but he commented before I mentioned it on the channel because I stuck my alpha spools in there. But even the newest spools on the little, I believe if you want, you know, you're like, well, why wouldn't you just get an Alpha's TW or whatever? But you can they sell spacers. Like guys are still making them, and they've definitely been around for a while. They're out there. You could buy spacers if you wanted to and put that on there. So I don't know. I love this reel. Right out of the box, off the get-go. Still love my Aldebarans, but I mentioned about getting rid of these, and I'm still up in the air. These may have to go bye-bye. Now this goes good on the 803, perfect for what I want to do with it. And this old Aldebaran does. It just looks good on any of these old, you know, some of these other rods that have kind of gotten, you know, I guess I could say pushed to the wayside for some of the newer ones and that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, I really thought that I was going to just show you how that this still, you know, competes with your high end on the Shimano side, the, you know, SV Boost kind of stuff. But I was surprised myself that it beats that reel on both, and it beats it bad on that. I can't believe it. And it did surprise me because what I was just going to talk about, you know, is how good both reels are and this and that. But my main thing that I was going to try to get across to you guys that are thinking about getting one of these is not only the fact that all the different spools you can get, but this stock spool, SV Boost, can throw this bait. You saw me just cast it. Put it on ultralight, lightweight. Actually, this light, Teton will probably cast it further. You've seen that, what, 59 feet? So almost 60 feet, you can be out BFS fishing. A lot of the baits I use start out at 1.5 to 5, and I'm sure it'll throw 1.5 about as good as it does this, a crankbait. So I really didn't even need to get a BFS spool if you were throwing, you know, you're just wanting to finesse bass fish, basically. You want to do away with spinning gear and throw the bass, because a lot of the baits you use aren't as small. That's crappie jig around my neck of the woods, right? But then on the other end, it'll throw up to those 3, you know, and I don't really throw, well, the whopper plopper, however much the big one weighs, but I'm sure it'll cast it just fine. But you can throw that crazy high-end stuff. So definitely have to recommend this rod, a reel rod. I guess I should talk about palmability. It's definitely, I can't say it needs more work, but it's definitely not where the Aldebarans are. I guess I'm still got that line caught up. Reel needs oiled. Or sorry, that rod needs oiled. Ew, don't you fall off. I'll try to show you from both angles, because I've noticed that on my camera and on the reel test, typically whatever's over here looks bigger. But these Aldebarans still set way lower. Like, it looks like this side plate's the same size, but it's squatted way down. But I was looking at this, they've got this thing, because that's the, what is that, 34 millimeter spool. That thing is about as low as they can get it. And it's a very small reel. And the biggest thing that they've done that far and above improves over any of the Tatulas is, see how low cutout that is? And the Tatulas all have that big, I'll try to show you. See how flat that is, and it's sunk down, and it sets, it's hard to tell because sideways it looks kind of higher than it is, because it's, that just lets it feel so much smaller when you're palming it. My biggest issue when they finally got down to a close enough size for the Tatulas that you might be able to palm them and feel comfortable, for me, the Tatulas, it's like your hand feels like it's way up there. But what I was going to show you guys is, as I get out of here, some rods, what's funny is, because I've called the Cast King Zephyr not matching up to the rod and reel, just don't match each other. And another point I'll talk about, on the Cast King Zephyr, the way I palm, the Zephyr reel on that rod feels like totally not good. But this thing has a good palming ability. It's still nowhere near the Aldebarans. But as far as better than probably any of the other Daiwas I've ever owned, other than maybe the T3. The T3 did palm very good. It just had other issues, right? But I like it. I think they've, you know, I think they've got there. They're there. I mean, honestly, if it was me, I'd worry about downsizing it a little bit, but I'm picky and lightening it up a little. It's not like crazy heavy, and they do have the aluminum. I think the shaft here is aluminum gears, but it's an aluminum frame. But a very good reel. This guy, on the other hand, doesn't really need anything. It just needs to be a BFS. Because I could throw heavy stuff with my BFS, well, when I had the stock spool in it. But I thought about checking it, because I do have a stock spool now. I could, you know, already have the spool. I could check, but you need a bearing. I think you need 2 bearings, that whole side, you know, the FTB stuff. So by the time that, I'd be better off to sell this for whatever, or just, I don't know, it's like probably pointless. I've said it before, I wish, you know, somewhere those Chinese manufacturers would realize they could probably sell more spools to fit the Aldebaran 50 or the 50 MGL or 30 MGL than they're making the spool for the Aldebaran BFS, which is already a very capable BFS reel. Anyway, guys, comment. Once again, Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you before New Year's, so I'm not going to tell you Happy New Year's yet. But I had all of my Christmas gifts that I bought myself, of course. Only one made it in from, oh, I'd like to thank Digitaka. They made it in. AliExpress, you still suck. Shipping sucks worldwide, I know, and all that kind of stuff. But AliExpress stuff, man, it does. That just sucks. It sucks big time. You wait like you wait so long, you forget it is like Christmas present. Of course, I've been watching the tracking thing, and they're all like, half my stuff is sitting at the post office. It tells me that it's there, and it showed up like yesterday or whenever after of an evening, so it's just sitting there, and it'll probably be here, I'm guessing, on Monday. But I've got, I want to say $600 or $700, maybe $800 worth of stuff still, not counting all the rods that are already here that I bought, and the few reels, the lingual, and all the other stuff. So yeah, be looking forward to, got a lot of unboxings coming up, probably at either next week or at the first of the year, around New Year's. I like this reel so much, there's a possibility I'll buy another one at some point. What I originally planned this for, I guess I'll tell you real quick, then I'm out of here. My original plan was, let me tell you how I got to where I got this reel. I talked about just why I liked it and all this, because I saw it up at Rogers, but my idea was, I was kind of up in the air on the new Airstream, you know, from Daiwa. I was thinking of the Shimano Calcutta Conquest BFS, because I got this new $high rod coming for the streams, and I thought, you know what, if I was debating going all out, because I don't like the palming of this, even though it's a good reel, I've gone through the monoblocks and all the old gold 50 series. Now they call them hundreds, but they're like the side plates actually like the same size as the old 50s. But I know I don't like the way they palm. It's just a cool, you know, reels, the Aldebaran BFS XG. But I'm like, what if I just get this you know, it's going to be actually a little bit lighter than that. You know, fancy it up a little bit, put a good spool in it, put a little bling on it. And that, if everything's working out, will go good for the creeks and streams, right? But this spool is so good, what I'll probably do is I'll go back and forth. I'll put this spool in for all my regular fishing, you know, figure out what rod for sure I want to put on it. But then when I go to the creeks and streams, I'll have one of those chameleon spools in a gold color, and I'm gonna have gold drag star, and then I'll put it on, you know, that rod for little stuff. Probably 6-pound, maybe braid too, but if nothing else, 10-pound braid to a 6-pound leader out there fishing, and it'll all be good, right? Right, of course it will be. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Get out of here, go bass and bonsai, and Merry, let me say it one more time. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm gone.